The film begins by introducing a guy named Yuan Tiangang. When he was a child, a fortune teller said he'd be the most unlucky and dangerous person ever. He believed anyone who got close to Yuan would end up in a really bad way. And yup, it happened. His parents were killed by witches right after he was born. Because of that, everyone thought he was a terrible monster, and the people in his village kicked him out and wouldn't talk to him. Thankfully, his uncle looked out for him. His uncle believed Yuan wasn't cursed, but actually a special kid from heaven. But his uncle was wrong. When Yuan was 15, he got really sick. And while he was sick, his uncle and his friends were attacked and killed by evil witches. Turns out, these witches wanted this super powerful sword called the Dragon Abyss Sword. This sword could wreck the whole world because it was crazy strong. But Yuan's uncle had hidden it, so the witches couldn't get their hands on it. 2 days later, Yuan woke up feeling better. But when he looked around, he saw that his home was destroyed, and his uncle was gone because of those evil witches. This made Yuan think that maybe he really was cursed by heaven. From then on, he was determined to get revenge for his uncle and fight against what he thought was his fate. After that, Yuan lived alone. One day, Yuan discovered something special about himself. He found out he could tell when someone was going to die just by knowing their birthday. As he grew up, Yuan decided to become a contract killer to survive and to find out who killed his uncle. As a killer, he's always on the move, going from one place to another. 15 years later, when Yuan was 30, he was living in a city for a while. There, he met a woman named Asina. She was a middle person between clients and assassins like Yuan. One day, Yuan went to get paid because he finished his job. But his way of asking for payment was weird and confused Asina. Yuan explained that he wanted to be paid by weighing the bones of his targets. Then he multiplied the weight by the age of the target to figure out how much he should get paid. Upon hearing that, Asina looked confused but tried to understand. After getting paid, Yuan hurried to do Asina's new job. This time, he had to target a general. The general was sick, but still wanted to go back to war to help his soldiers. Sadly, this general was Yuan's next target. Shortly after, Yuan arrived at the general's place and quickly took down one of the soldiers blocking his way. With just one move, Yuan overpowered the soldier. Before finishing him off, Yuan seemed worried about the general's health. So, he gave the general two choices: either let Yuan kill him there or go back to the battlefield to save his soldiers and die there. The general chose the second option because dying in battle would be more honorable than being killed by an assassin. The next day, news spread that the general had died in battle, and soon, even the emperor heard about it. His advisors thought it was good for the emperor because the general could have tried to take the throne. Even though the general was gone, the emperor still needed protection. So, he told his advisor to find the Dragon Abyss Sword, which could help him stay in power even longer. Meanwhile, Yuan went back to Asina's place to get paid again because technically, the general died because of the choice Yuan gave him. After getting paid, Asina asked Yuan to predict her death. Using his power, Yuan saw that Asina would be killed by someone in 10 days. Even though she was shocked, Asina didn't seem sad. Instead, she tried to stay happy and make the most of her remaining days. She also started giving food to beggars nearby, showing her kindness. Seeing this, Yuan didn't want Asina to die. He planned to save her. The next day, Asina left without saying goodbye, even though Yuan wanted to protect her. It turned out she went to a governor named Lu, and surprisingly, she planned to kill him. Dressed like a ninja, she attacked his guards, but she lost to a warrior named Chunfang, who was dedicated to guarding Lu. Even though Chunfang beat her, he didn't kill Asina right away. Instead, he put her in prison. Later, Chunfang met Lu's son to discuss rumors about the emperor leaving the capital. It was said the emperor was moving the palace to protect the throne from rebels and those plotting against him. Meanwhile, Lu decided to question Asina. It came out that Asina had a grudge because Lu's troops had attacked and killed her family and village people. So, before she died, Asina wanted to get revenge by killing Lu. Lu apologized, saying he acted on royal orders to wipe out people of Turkish descent, including Asina's family. At that time, Lu wanted to set Asina free, but rules said she had to pay for her attempted murder. As Lu's men were taking her back to prison, they were attacked by Yuan, who killed them all. Then, Asina took the chance to finish off Lu. After stabbing Lu, Asina ran away with Yuan. But Chunfeng and his soldiers blocked their path, so they had to fight. Surprisingly, Chunfeng knew the same martial arts as Yuan and had the unbeatable Dragon Abyss sword. When things got tough, Yuan told Asina to leave before the soldiers caught her. Once Asina was gone, Chunfeng stopped attacking Yuan because he was actually Yuan's uncle's best student and knew a special martial arts technique called tiangang. Plus, Lu had a connection to Yuan's family. Hearing this, Yuan used acupuncture to heal Lu's internal injuries, but Lu remained unconscious. After helping Lu, Yuan decided to stay for a while and learn more about his family. Since he was born, his family members had died one by one, so he didn't know much about them. One night, Chunfeng shared the secret of the Dragon Abyss sword with Yuan. He showed him an old painting that Yuan had made when he was a kid, using his own blood for paint. In the painting, it showed Yuan finding the sword in a palm tree in a supernatural world. Seeing the painting brought back memories of Yuan's tough childhood. Chunfeng then gave Yuan the Dragon Abyss sword, saying it was made by their ancestors and sought after by emperors for its power. To keep it safe from those who wanted to control the world, Yuan's uncle had protected it. Chunfeng also revealed that Yuan had disappeared when the witches attacked his uncle, like the gods were protecting him. Hearing this, Yuan shared that he was seriously ill at that time and often had strange dreams. One day, he woke up on a rock. Then, Chunfeng explained that the rock Yuan mentioned was the Star Moon Stone, where a special star's blessing falls, giving it amazing powers. The Star Moon Stone can even heal any sickness. So, they decided to take Lu there hoping he'd wake up. The next day, Yuan told Chunfeng he planned to avenge his uncle's death and save Asina from her fate. But Chunfeng said Yuan couldn't change what was meant to be. Still, Yuan was determined to try. Meanwhile, a royal magician named Yuan was plotting a coup. Besides his work in the kingdom, Yuan was part of a sect known for its mystical powers. It was clear from his abilities that Yuan was one of the witches who killed Yuan's uncle. Shortly after, Asina went to Yuan for help to save Yuan, not knowing he was a cunning and evil witch. There, she offered the Dragon Abyss sword's location at Lu's place as payment. Upon hearing that, Yuan eagerly agreed and sent troops to attack Lu's palace, only to find out Chunfeng and the others had already left. Yuan then ordered his students to track down Lu, and they quickly found him. Meanwhile, Yuan and his friends reached the mountain with the Star Moon Stone to heal Lu, but he didn't wake up as expected. While waiting, Asina, Yuan, and their troops arrived. Asina was disappointed in Yuan for teaming up with Chunfeng to save Lu. Angry, she asked Yuan to kill them all. After Yuan's soldiers were killed, he used his special power to control dead bodies. When Yuan saw this, he realized Yuan was the one who had killed his uncle. Yuan got really mad and fought back, defeating all of Yuan's troops. When Yuan saw Yuan's abilities, he got scared and wanted to kill him before he could unleash his full power. Asina, even though she was angry, didn't want Yuan to be killed by the witch. So she tried to stop the fight. Meanwhile, Yuan and Chunfeng felt overwhelmed because Yuan turned all his troops into zombies. Even worse, they couldn't be killed and kept coming back to life. When Yuan tried to destroy Yuan's magic wand, he got trapped by the magic. Asina saw this and quickly destroyed the wand, breaking Yuan's control. But sadly, Yuan killed Asina. After Yuan killed Asina, he took the Dragon Abyss sword and left. Soon after, Yuan and Chunfeng woke up and found Asina dead. Meanwhile, Lu received a miracle from Star Moon, though it was a bit late. In that moment, Yuan was heartbroken over losing Asina, so he gave her a proper burial to honor her kindness. From that day on, he was determined to defeat Yuan at any cost, as Yuan's actions had caused him to lose two people he loved. At the same time, Yuan showed the Dragon Abyss sword to his father, who was an advisor to the emperor. But his father intended to give the sword to the emperor. Yuan disagreed because he needed the sword to claim the throne for himself. Because his father was too loyal to the emperor, Yuan decided to kill him. Then he led his troops to the palace to overthrow the emperor. He even spread rumors that the emperor had killed his own father. In the end, Yuan succeeded in taking the throne for himself. In another place, Yuan just woke up from a dream where he met his uncle. That dream made him feel more determined to get revenge for his uncle's death. Soon after, Yuan climbed up a mountain to visit Asina's grave. Then, Lu approached him and agreed that Yuan deserved punishment. Upon hearing that, Lu supported Yuan's desire for revenge because they believed the world would be better without someone like Yuan. A month later, Lu gathered rebel troops to overthrow Yuan's power. Yuan also prepared his weapons to take revenge for his uncle and the woman he cared about. But Yuan had tough zombie soldiers, making the rebels struggle. Soon after, Yuan went to the capital to help the troops. At that time, many of Lu's soldiers got hurt in the war, but Chunfeng encouraged them to keep fighting until they could overthrow Yuan. At the palace, officials were having a big party to celebrate Yuan becoming emperor. They were all happy, not thinking about the people's lives. But there, Yuan didn't take Lu's troops seriously and planned to make their area poor through corruption, which would make everyone there suffer. While Yuan and his people partied, Lu's troops quietly got close to the capital. Yuan also arrived near the palace. Using his martial arts skills, Yuan defeated the guards and entered the party. Without hesitation, he fought and killed a corrupt official. Then, Yuan challenged Yuan to a fight. But before they could start, Yuan killed all his own soldiers and turned them into zombies. He thought this would give him an advantage. However, Yuan wasn't scared and began defeating the zombies. This time, Yuan was able to defeat them all by fighting back against Yuan's magic. Ever since Asina passed away, Yuan's anger turned into a powerful force. When Yuan became worried, Yuan attacked him without holding back. Because of his strength and confidence, Yuan finally managed to defeat Yuan with a single punch. But what mattered most was that he had achieved his revenge. Seeing Yuan's strength, the palace army started to give up. Proudly, Yuan walked among them, holding Yuan's head, showing that Yuan's power was no more. After winning the battle, Yuan fainted and had a dream. In the dream, he met Asina's spirit. Before they parted ways forever, Asina advised him to live a good life like a regular person. Besides giving this message, she also gave him a bottle as a keepsake. The next day, Yuan woke up after passing out and found the bottle Asina had given him. He didn't think the bottle would actually be real. Soon after, Lu told Yuan that he had renamed the Dragon Abyss Sword to the Spring Sword. 2 years later, Yuan decided to go on another journey. This time, he planned to go back to his old home and start a new life. When he got there, he fixed up the valley to make it a better place to live. Even after many years of living there, Yuan still often dreamed about his uncle and Asina. Even when he got old, he never forgot them. 200 years later, Yuan was still alive but had a different appearance. He wore a mask to cover his face. By then, he was known as the highly respected Spring Sword Master. At the end of the film, Yuan is shown traveling to find someone who can take over as the protector of the Spring Sword. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is never trust a fortune teller with a bad review, especially if they predict you'll be unlucky. And if someone offers to pay you in bones, it's probably time to rethink your career choices.